Bom dia a todos.
Good morning to all. As said before, my name is Hugo Oliveira. I'm an attorney from the National Bishops Association of Brazil that gathers all the congregations established in the in Brazil, about 600 organizations, and also the Catholic National Association of Brazil that also gathers 1250 organizations, Catholic organizations in Brazil. And I'm sincerely here thankful to the invitation that was extended to me. And I'm feel obligated to say that everything I'm going to expose now comes from my personal opinion and not coming from the organization which I represent. I believe that is common sense, and I support myself on what Deputy Morani Torgan said, that Brazil is a country that brings us a reality that is a little dissonant to what happens in the rest of the world. The process of secularism that we observe in many other places, it's not seen in Brazil like that. On the contrary, Brazil is a place where the people identity is totally associated around the religious values. Obviously, it has to do with our beginnings, our colonization that was predominantly Catholic, but also that has been strengthened with other peoples, other cultures, and many other religious denominations that formed our culture. So Brazil has not lost its culture. It actually has been reinforced. But however, religion sometimes is seen as an obstacle, and this was never seen before. So for the society, religion was seen as an opportunity in the past, based on the fact that all religious denominations, and I will not cite any one of them here, were these religions were the responsible parties for the first schools, the first hospitals that was brought to the country. Now religion is seen as an obstacle because of a wrong vision of in its aim is it reference it comes from conservative groups. These conservative groups have an opposition to some initiatives that I would say are totally minority, but that end up gaining a lot of momentum and voice in the media. All of you have received here serious criticism to some sects that we have in Brazil, which origin that I will express a little more in my opinion, have contributed to this opposition from the people. So if we're talking here about social stability, we have a concrete, a solid reason to say that this is being threatened. So it's us against them that we listen a lot in Brazil, and refers to the haves against the have-nots, and in the conservatives against progresses. And these two completely antagonic visions threaten the democracy. Are we protecting the minorities, or do we protect the majorities? We shouldn't have the or in between. Democracy is the most applicable way to promote both, protect the minority and promote the interests of the majorities. So this brought to us a dormant agenda. These cultural issues were kind of dormant in the country. Recently, we had an agenda turned to political and economical problems, and now we have these other elements added to the conversation. And it's interesting that the media has labeled this discussion as a big waste of time. So those public opinion talk about this and say, this is nonsense. Why are we wasting our time about freedom of religion or marriage between same sex? And this shouldn't even be part of our agenda, which is wrong because obviously this has to be part of our discussions in our society. So there's a big label that is put, the label on religious, conservative against those who are progressive, which is a big mistake. As if the secularism was a progressive and religion was only conservative. One history shows that in many, many instances, they actually are one with the other. I like to this. I think there's a lot of negativity saying talking about what the state cannot oppose, or the state cannot establish is, and the laicism is not correct. The state doesn't impose. It comes from a social contract amongst its people. And if I can say something here about the Catholic Church, the Catholic Church has it in its constitution for centuries. So this pluralism, religious pluralism, cultural, all this tolerance, all this freedom is part of our constitution in a very clear manner. Article 19, although it says that Brazil cannot impose any type of religions, in its last words, it reinforces the covenants of the public interest. This is very solid. I'd like to give you some numbers. 45% of our system is given to religious institutions. 85%, 85% of our institutions, non-profit organizations, are directly related to religions. So the state can in no means not be related with these institutions. But if Brazil is theoretically based on the liberty, today we see some isolated episodes that are putting a label as if that was the largest, the widest expression of this lack of unity, which is a mistake. This is not right. I feel very at ease to say it here. We do live in a violent place. We have 55,000 people killed in the country every year. During the time that I'm addressing you, 2 people will be victims of violent crimes. So yes, we are a violent people this day, and it's not from when it happens to a homosexual, for example. It's an act of discrimination, and the media wants to try to say that it originates from religious hate, and it's not. There's no way to find out where the violence comes from, where the 95% of these crimes do not go to trial. So we're trying to expose and explain a fact that we don't even know plainly and fully. Summarizing really quickly here, some spheres in our power. The executive power, there's no public instrument or tool to make this become a priority. They have other priorities like domestic violence and drug traffic. In the legislative, there is a strong religious group, the evangelicals group, that they try to promote political parties with its aim to create a political, not a political or an economical discussion, but more of a political power of these evangelical groups. And the media really exploits this in a great way, in big measure, I mean. the judicial system also has, I'm sorry, the judicial system is omits itself in some situations, and when they try to voice their opinion, they also get bashed by the media. In the academia, there's no presence and no action. It's totally contrary to what we are discussing in this symposium. It's not. It's a very hostile ground for this debate, and many other actors in the religious environment. Again, I'm not. Don't take my words as the representative, but my own opinion. Some churches do have a very myope role in this process. I'm not talking about the churches which origin is, it's not a well traced origin. There is a fact that some of them are established for money laundering and drug trafficking. Now I'm talking about serious churches that sometimes cannot reach the opportunity that they want to have to perform in the public environment. That's why sometimes beating the Catholic Church is good, because it weakens the competition. That is a mistake. In many instances where we see, like a treaty in Brazil that was totally attacked on groundless basis, the hostile manifestation from some churches in regards to other denominations in the public schools, we see that in other words, the society allowed other religions to manifest themselves in the public schools, but not the Catholic Church. So we see a bias there. So I do apologize for going over my time, but I do appreciate the time that was given to me, and I'm at your disposal to share some of the experiences that I have lived and experienced. Thank you very much.